turns this way.
Yeah, just straight up to the front door there. They'll get you inside, get you out, take care of it.
Thank you.
Let me go get that. Oh, I'm already out here.
Go back.
You said make sure you have your ID.
Yeah. Welcome to Jack Daniels.
That's right. Welcome to Jack Daniel. It's
What?
Golden Jack Daniel. Alright guys, I'm taking you to Jack Daniel's Distillery here in Tennessee. So let's go.
Thank you. Howdy.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Come on in. They're going to take your temperature right here.
Okay. So when you enter, they're gonna have your temperature. Also, have to have your mask on. Good morning.
Well, if I hit the right button, that'll work. Just take your sticker and you'll put that on your shirt to verify.
Okay.
How are you, sir?
Okay.
We got this sticker.
You check in for tours to your right and everything else like that.
I think so. So while we're waiting for our tour, I'm gonna let you see all of these for now. That's pretty cool. Already have that honey boosted. It's pretty good.
The 910 ankle share, the 910 ankle share. You'll just use on the very display. That's going to see the time on that one stick, please. Once I see that time on that stick, we'll go ahead and time.
That's a really good looking bottle there. That was 1979. Cute. century. Oh! 1980s bottle. Pretty good looking one. How about a Jack Daniel video? This is how they were processed.
Good morning.
Oh, good. Golly.
Right.
Got the Jack Daniel bike.
Oldest registered distillery, the Jack Daniel Distillery. Every drop of our whiskey enjoyed around the world is made not more than 200 yards from where you're sitting. Mr. Jack registered his distillery in 1866, and we're still here today, true to Jack's whiskey-making tradition. Or, as Mr. Jack liked to say, every day we make it, we'll make it the best we can. This is a whiskey-making town. There's little else here to distract us from making our whiskey the way it's been made for generations. Here in the Hollow, it's not uncommon for a son to learn his trade from his father. What some call quality control, we call family pride and tradition. The character of the people of this place contribute to the character of Jack Daniels. They're essential ingredients for making good whiskey. Folks here keep a watchful eye on the other ingredients, like the cave spring water that first brought Jack here. It flows iron-free and naturally filtered by the limestone, just perfect for making good whiskey. Then there's the grains, the finest grade corn, rye, and malted barley. You can make whiskey with lesser quality grains, but it'd be something less than Jack Daniels. Our choice ingredients are mashed and distilled with painstaking care, but we go one step further. An extra step that makes Jack Daniels more than a whiskey or bourbon. Makes it a Tennessee whiskey. We call it mellowing. Once Jack Daniels comes all still, it's mellowed drop by drop through 10 feet of hard sugar maple charcoal. Making the charcoal and mellowing the whiskey is a costly and time-consuming process, but it's what gives our whiskey its smooth, distinctive character. It's what makes Jack Daniels different. The quality of Jack Daniels extends to the careful crafting of our white oak barrels. Our whiskey goes into the barrel clear as water and emerges a rich, warm amber. All of the color and a good bit of flavor are drawn from the barrel. We believe the barrel is so important, we've gone to the added effort to make our own. One thing you'll not find on our label is an age statement. What you will find is the number 7, the mark of quality. This means our tasters have judged the whiskey inside to have reached peak maturity, worthy of the name Jack Daniels. We don't leave such an important decision up to a calendar. We judge our whiskey's quality the same way you do. Listen. At the Jack Daniel Distillery, we distill only one whiskey, Jack Daniels whiskey. It's what happens after the whiskey leaves the still that sets Jack Daniels single barrel and Gentleman Jack, apart from our old number 7 brand. Gentleman Jack is mellowed twice, once before going into the barrel and once more after maturation. Jack Daniels single barrel is bottled from individual barrels, matured in the uppermost floors of our barrel houses, and hand-selected by our master distiller for a rich and robust character and color. All 3 whiskeys share a strong family resemblance in quality and taste, but they also enjoy their own individual character. We hope you'll take the time to get to know them all. Thanks for visiting. It's good to have you here at the Hollow. We're constantly reminded just how important remaining true to Mr. Jack's vision is by our many visitors, the generations of family who work alongside us.
We're heading out to our first stop tour. See that huge building. Barrel House. What is that? Barrel House? Barrel House. See a little pic of the barrels? That's a lot. Yes, it is. Speed limit 7. Smell like cinnamon. Smell like cinnamon in here. Smells so good. No one else in the world did. I don't know what she said. Were you talking to me about that last night? Wow. Very full of whiskey. There's the snake.
All downhill from here. So I'll be your tour guide today. This lumber stacked up here is a sugar maple, hard sugar maple. That is the wood used to make our charcoal. Each one of those piles of wood right there is a rick of wood, hence the word rick yard. Now rick is an unofficial measurement of wood. I've always been told that it's 4 foot wide, 4 foot deep, 4 foot tall. Of course that's taller than 4 foot, all the space between that lumber. So therefore, when they take 4 of those hooks of wood, pile up underneath our EPA-inspired hoods. First, you may notice how they lean that lumber to the inside. How they get that fire started, they'll take 140 projectile spirit, spray right in the center of that pile of lumber, light a match to it. Want the hottest one to be right in the center. Now as that starts burning real good, it starts burning a big old pile right in the center of that hood. About an hour and 15 minutes that burn, they're going to start spinning down with water. If you do it too early, this big old pile of wet wood, too late, big old pile of ash. Working down a pretty good sized chunk of charcoal. Put it in one of these big old stainless steel containers right over there and let it cool down the rest of the way. Now that is a locally grown tree, sugar maple. Going to come area sawmills about an 80 to 90 mile radius. It's the same type tree you'd see up north. You get that good old sugar maple syrup. Doesn't get cold enough here to make you syrup by that tree. So we did the next best thing, make whiskey of it. Let's go this way. That charcoal right there, it's about an hour and a half, leave about a minute and a half right there. That's what that sugar maple looks like after it gets through burning. As we just started dripping it spirit on the top, just sort of bounce. Ricochet, wouldn't do it much good. You take a piece of that charcoal, put it underneath a microscope, and it's got a bunch of little pores inside that charcoal. So what they'll do after that cools down real good, they'll take it over next door, and they'll grind that down and mill it down about a 1/4 inch size of ledge you can see right there. So when you hand back that charcoal and melt that and start dripping that spirit on top of it, it literally soaks through that charcoal and stuff around it. Charcoal is what's going to make this a Tennessee whiskey. It's what separates us from these bourbon whiskey. Dishes of bourbon has to be made of 3 grains, has to be at least 51% corn, and put in a new charred water barrel. We did those 3 things. We had that very expensive, time-consuming step of melting whiskey. It takes your fatty acids, oils, and impurities out of whiskey. Most people did, takes the headaches out. So this is an example of what our melon vats look like up in the buildings. The diameter of that vat is pretty close to what it should be, but the height is way off. They're actually about 14 foot tall with 10 foot of pan-packed charcoal. If you look at that plexiglass right there, you can actually see that grease system they use to get that charcoal distributed, to get that spirit distributed across that charcoal. It's that charcoal clear as water. Soaks that charcoal about 2 days, comes out clear. It gets no color from that charcoal. Go this way. Video have a modern day fire club here, a fully trained fire brigade. We've got some real nice fire trucks right here. Also got a real good safety record. We haven't lost any whiskey because of fire since Prohibition. Go this way. So Mr. Jack's proper name was Jasper Newton Daniel. He went by Jack. Born and raised about 4 miles south of here. And Jack was a small lad, a small boy. His mother passed away. His father remarried shortly after that, and Jack did not get along with his new stepmother. So around the age of 8 to 10 years old, Jack started hanging out at the Dan Call family farm, which wasn't too far from where Jack's family lived. Now, Dan Call was a very interesting fellow. He wore several hats. For one, he was Reverend Dan Call, Lutheran ministry. 2, he had a general storeman next to his farm during the week. 3, he had a still in that farm where he made whiskey and sold it in his general store. So Jack started helping Reverend Dan Call's general store, and then later on struck an interest in making whiskey. Now the period of time we're talking right here is just prior to the Civil War. So Dan Call had an enslaved gentleman, Nathan Green, better known as Nearest. We're going to call him Nearest, is what he went by. Nearest took Jack under his wing and taught Jack how to make whiskey. They got pretty good at making whiskey. Quite a few years past, they got real good at making whiskey. Started to make that church a little nervous about a preaching man preaching on Sunday and making whiskey and selling it the week. So they told Reverend Dan called it, quit preaching, quit making whiskey. So Reverend Dan called, so I keep on preaching and sold his still to Jack. And Jack was anywhere from 15 to 18 years old. Now this is right after the Civil War. So Jack hired Nearest to be his head distiller. So Jack and Nearest started making. A few years past, Jack decided to expand his business. He'd heard of this place up here. It come available for rent. Jack moved his still to the Holler and made whiskey for quite a few years before he got a chance to buy it. It finally come up for a public auction. Jack's the highest bidder of his piece of property. Why not Wayne Foster's place? Look at his place. So this is the reason why Jack bought this piece of land here in Cave Springwater, virtually iron free. 56 degrees back here year round. And that cave goes back about a mile. Got a big old deep reservoir about halfway back. Got a pumping system back here that pumps that water out. That's Jack's source water each day, and water we used to use back in our whiskey to this day. All this above here, this is natural limestone rock. Of course, that is groundwater. Everything up above here, about 2 miles back, we either on lease can take groundwater dearly. The only thing you have to do it. That old white building back here is Jack's little office. He built that shortly after he bought this piece of land. That was the corporate office for General until about early 1950s. Then went across the street, built that more modern office which we use this day. And if you notice that blow stick with that old bill of spring deck pretty smart man. We'll cool air off the spring during summertime. I always said after a hard day working out heat, well, Jack better cool off with it before he went home. Also, you can say sometimes his girlfriends come by and visit and they do a little pumping with him. So Jack never was married, never had any kids, but he had a nephew, Liam Oscar Montlow. He went by Liam. Now Liam, you guess you could say sort of the bookkeeper. Things going went, but Jack wasn't around. So he would always come in there in the morning, get that old building open, don't safe in there. That old safe won't get things out for Jack to get his day started. And Jack decided to come to work early one day, tried to get that old safe open in there. Of course, he wouldn't used to get it open. He tried 3 or 4 times, and finally lost his temper, threw a rare back, and he pulled out a safe, broke his big toe. Didn't do anything about it for a while. Finally went to the doctor, infection had set in, lost his big toe over it. Now, over the period of 6 years, that's what killed Jack fishing for that big toe. A lot of folks say if he just stuck his foot metal jet to the whiskey, he might have been okay. Another theory been already not being heard, so very well may have been diabetic, he just didn't know it when he wanted to heal up right. What's more of the story is, don't because of what Tony will kill you. Tony, you're right. Look at this.
Like, past there is.
Go through the hallway down here, out this way in just a minute. If you go by this area right here, if you want to look at that pane glass right there, you actually see Jack's safe that he kept. Up above the safe, a picture of Jack is about 40 years old. Picture on the back wall back there above the mantle back there is Jack when he's probably around 60ish. Gentleman over here to your right, on the wall on the right hand side is Lim Motlow, his nephew, his older age. Always said had a grin on his face ever since he carried this place. Four gentlemen right here on the wall over here are Lim Motlow's sons. Taking the last name, they actually just on the money, but it says he was born in 1850. His mother's parents on it says she died in 1847. We got a little map problem going there somewhere. We know which way it goes. Now it'll sign on the wall where it says every day we make it the best we can. That was Jack's bottle back his day. We hold it true to this day. We use 3 grains to make our whiskey: is corn, barley, and rye. Got some old photos on the wall over here. The oldest picture we got is a picture of Jack and his whole crew, taken about 1890. Now Jack is the gentleman with the black vest, bow tie, and white hat. You also pick out Jack, and Jack the only one actually standing up in that photo. Everybody else sitting down. It's sort of leaning in right there, but he gets standing up. Gentleman right there, right beside him, right there is George Green, one of Nearest sons. Gentleman right there with a heart in his hand, right there is his nephew, Lim Motlow. Just about every one of these gentlemen has phone over there. Hey, kid folks work here, still work here today. Now Jack never had any kids, but he does have a lot of cousins still involved in the business. Go this way, folks. Come on out. Liquid mass silver plate, you got steam rise to the bottom, steam liquid mass feeds to the middle, paper rise to the top for the cool, then turn it to liquid. At that point, it goes into a double. The top of that doubler is going carbon. Carbon, when that clear 140 proof flows into clear as water. They call it carbon, that's what they fry spirit. Now there are 4 seals up there. The seal ends will do about 12, 18 gallons to the each. The 2 in the middle, the bigger one. 35, 40 gallons to the each. Everybody seals up to 40 ounces. Basically 72 ounces.
They don't cut that.
Doubler number 3, doubler number 1 over here, 4 and 5 down that way. Now after distillation is complete, you got a 4-gallon byproduct. A third of that mash is sent back to the mash run. 2/3 sit up on top of the hill. We sold to cattle farmers. High protein, good cattle feed. That's why the local cattleman right here so we marinate our steaks on the inside out to the back. Other way. I'm gonna have a seat in here. We're the only major spirit company in the United States that can make our barrels. Right there, our barrels are made in 2 different places. Now, some of our barrels we made in Trinidad, some of our barrels still made in up in Louisville, Kentucky, at around from the Cooperage. Also make our barrels in Trinity, Alabama, about 75 miles south there, Jet Leader Cooperage. Now we only use that barrel all the time. And then we'll sell barrels to Scotland for Scotch. Also use our barrels over for Irish whiskey. Also sell barrels of wine, rum, tequila. No place down in Louisiana where they make that Tabasco sauce. Also use our barrels to put their product in. Also got some beer brewers that take them old barrels, put that beer there along with the flavor of the barrel. Now in the fall, about October, as the folks up north come down to see us, take some old barrels on with them. They get old apple cider there for a while, they get old hard apple cider. You know, once a local person will take one of those barrels on with them, take one in that barrel. Call a whole bit big enough for a dog build, they're make a pretty good dog house. Before that dog, well, that came out there the first couple of days when it goes in there first time. Also got some old barrels not being used for resale. They take those barrels and chip them up and make Jet Leader smoky chips. Also get it smoky drilling. We try to reuse, resell, recycle everything we can right here. We're right at a 1% waste here. Watch about a 3-minute movie about a barrel making there.
Here at Jack Daniels, we don't put our whiskey in barrels. We entrust it to them. You see, a good barrel is more than a container for the whiskey. It's really an ingredient. All of the whiskey's color and a good part of its flavor are drawn from the barrel. That's why we go to the extra effort to make our own, crafted from American white oak. The rough staves are cut from the trunk and left to season in the open air. The simple seasoning with the wood prepares the oak to contribute to the character of the whiskey. Next, the staves are carefully planed, cupped on one side, and the joints cut at a slight angle. A mistake here, and the barrel will leak, giving the angels more than their fair share. Now the staves go to the barrel braiser. Yes, barrels are raised, not built. The cooper fits together by hand staves of different widths, like puzzle pieces. 33 staves to the barrel. A seasoned barrel maker will raise 250 barrels a day. Now it's time for toasting, the crucial step to crafting a barrel that will impart the greatest flavor. Toasting releases much of the flavor locked inside the wood, such as our distinctive vanilla accent. Our barrel is now ready for the roar of the char tunnel's flame. As it passes through the fire, the natural sugar in the wood caramelizes. More flavor for the whiskey to draw from. Finally, a craftsman prepares the barrel for its head. The hoops are put on, the bunghole drilled, the barrel tested for leaks, and inspected under a cooper's watchful eye. At long last, the barrel is ready to receive its whiskey. It'll go in clear with a hint of flavor, but emerge mature with a rich amber color and a warm, robust taste we all know as Jack Daniels. We believe the barrel is so important to the quality and maturity of the whiskey that we go to the added expense of making our own. We hope you'll agree. The extra effort is well worth it.
So these old barrel house on top of these hillside, just old wood frame structural sheet metal on the outside of them. There gets a Neo-American white oak barrel, a 53-gallon Chesterfield barrel. Set that barrel in that barrel house. No heat, no cooling. It gets hot in the summertime. Feels pressure inside that white oak barrel, forces that spirit, that whiskey inside for that barrel. It's cold in the wintertime, light pressure on that barrel, whiskey will make it inside the barrel. Over you some hot, cold light sits in that barrel, picks up all the cold of its flavor. You can see that salt line right there where that whiskey sitting in that white oak barrel for a period of time. Go out the door when we came in. Go this way.
Thank you, sir.
Everything else we do is 2 miles south. We're automated down running 8 lines usually for each shift.
So a little aroma hitting your nose come the door, that's called the angel share. And the alcohol vapors escape before that barrels for that maturation process. Which for?
Good.
There you go, you speak like good. Yeah, next it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 7th month of July, is the 12th day of the month, so July 12th, July 16th.
You have
That's
to
right.
rotate these?
Huh?
You have to rotate these?
No, we do not rotate barrels. We have 92 barrel houses.
Okay.
So we're north of 1 million barrels in storage. We do good to pull 2,000 barrels a day, 5 days a week to be bottled.
Okay.
So we make black label, which is still 80% of what we sell is black label. All we're gonna go through here and put a face here area, walk through, and then you can take all the pictures. Okay.
I'll probably die.
Thanks for coming today. Downtown here, 25 places, stop to eat downtown Lakeford. Footbridge, you're taking about a 5-day walk. To your left, and go out, maybe about the walk, all day. That's where you find a place to get your ID, see what their shop has, t-shirts, things like that. Good idea. Purchase $10 for short that short mask. They give you a free technical shot glass. Of course, that shot glass will not have any whiskey or that drop mask. Thanks for coming in. My name is John Joanne. Our bottle shop is open. Everything we put will make it sell there today in certain sizes. And on Jumpin' Jack and silverware bottles, they can be excellent with glass, but a customized bottle for accessibility for gift. And if you'd like to show your tour guides love, one of the ways is to fill out a comment card. Of course, we don't have comment cards right now. But if you'd like to go to our website and become friends of Jack and do a comment there, you can do it there. Let her know what John thought about your tour and your tour guide. If you didn't like my tour, write down Lois down. And of course, we'll keep on making whiskey like Mr. Jackie. Great response. Thanks for doing that, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Look at this light.
There's the Indian motorcycle again.